Welcome to the Scenario Podcast, your guide to mental health and well-being. Each episode, we uncover practical tools, discuss expert insights, and explore how supplements can transform your mental health journey. Get ready to learn, grow, and thrive with us.
Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today we're getting into a topic that really touches nearly everyone at some point. Finding natural and effective ways to support hormone balance.
It's a huge topic.
It is.
Yeah.
This is for you if you're just tired of the mood swings, the, unpredictable energy, that constant hormonal fog.
It's such a good place to focus because when we talk about hormones, we're really talking about the body's master controllers.
Right.
They're these powerful chemical messengers that affect, well, everything. Your energy, your mood, metabolism, sleep.
And the symptoms of an imbalance are just. They're so frustratingly broad, but also incredibly relatable. The source material lists everything from that chronic fatigue we all joke about to weird weight gain, brain fog, acne.
And of course, the chaos of irregular cycles or really severe PMS.
Exactly. It's a wide net.
Yeah.
And often it feels like the symptoms are addressed, but not the root cause.
Right. And the sources really stress, and we always do too, that the big lifestyle shifts are absolutely crucial. You have to fix your sleep, you have to manage stress, you have to support your gut.
But for this deep dive,
we're focusing on the roadmap the material gives us for targeted support. The top 5 supplements that can give you that focused help while you work on the big stuff.
so our mission is to go beyond the generic advice. We're going to unpack the actual mechanisms, how they work, the practical dosages, and the specific benefits of these 5 helpers.
And then we'll tie it all back to that bigger picture so you can walk away with a real actionable plan.
Okay, let's unpack this.
Yeah.
I want to start at the core of the stress response with the 2 powerful adaptogens in the sources.
Adaptogens are they're wonderful because they don't force your body one way or the other. They help it adapt.
Right, they help you find homeostasis.
Exactly. They modulate your response. They don't just stimulate or sedate you. They help you stay steady no matter what's going on outside.
So first up is Maca Root. This one has a huge reputation for boosting energy and libido.
Maca is a powerhouse. It's a root vegetable from way up in the Andes Mountains, traditionally used for energy, fertility, all of that.
And what's fascinating here, and where we really get into the deep dive, is its mechanism.
Yes. It's often misunderstood. People think it's a phytoestrogen, like soy, but it's not. It doesn't contain hormones or mimic them.
So if it's not adding estrogen or progesterone, how does it actually help balance them?
It works upstream. It supports the central command center, what we call the HPA axis.
The hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis.
Exactly. Think of your hypothalamus and pituitary glands as the thermostat and control panel for your entire endocrine system. Maca just supports those signalers so they can communicate better.
So it's helping the factory manager, not just changing the output.
That's a great way to put it. It helps regulate the release of all the other hormones, estrogen, progesterone, testosterone throughout the body.
And that kind of structural support is why the sources say it's so effective for PMS, perimenopause, menopause, all those symptoms. It brings a kind of gentle clarity to the whole system.
Precisely. And for the practical side, the dose is usually around 1,500 to 3,000 milligrams a day.
And there's a key detail for you, the listener.
Yes. The sources strongly recommend using the gelatinized form, either powder or capsule.
Why is that?
Because the starch has been removed. It makes it much, much easier to digest and absorb, so you avoid that stomach upset some people get with raw maca.
Excellent tip. Okay, let's move to the second cornerstone adaptogen, the one everyone's heard of, Ashwagandha. This is the go-to for stress.
It's a central herb in Ayurvedic medicine known for just calming and grounding the nervous system.
And its mechanism is so direct, it just tackles the most disruptive hormone head-on.
It really does. Ashwagandha actively lowers cortisol, the body's main stress hormone.
Which we need sometimes for fight or flight.
For acute situations, yes. But when you're chronically stressed, which, let's be honest, is most of us, that constantly high cortisol is a disaster. It interferes with your thyroid, it deregulates insulin, it throws your sex hormones completely out of whack.
It's that constant noise, that interference, that makes the body feel so off balance.
Right. So by stabilizing that stress with ashwagandha, you're basically just removing the static so the other hormones can finally do their job properly.
And the standardization of the supplement is key here.
It's vital. The sources recommend 300 to 600 milligrams per day of a supplement that is standardized to 5% with analytes.
Okay, can you break down that term? Why do we need to know about withanalydes?
Absolutely. The withanalydes are the key active compounds in the plant. They're what's actually responsible for the adaptogenic, stress-reducing effects.
So if it's not standardized,
You really don't know how much of the good stuff you're actually getting. Standardizing to 5% just guarantees you're getting the potency and consistency you need to actually lower that circulating cortisol.
this is where it gets really interesting as we move to our transformative trio. We're looking at support for cycles, minerals, and cellular health. Let's start with Vitex, or chaste treeberry.
Vitex is traditionally used specifically for female reproductive health. Irregular periods, severe PMS, some fertility challenges.
Right, we've heard about it for that, but what's the precise mechanism? How does it actually work?
It works by gently stimulating the pituitary gland, that command center again, to boost the natural production of progesterone.
Ah,
And this is so crucial because a lot of what gets labeled estrogen dominance isn't necessarily about having too much estrogen.
it's about not having enough progesterone to balance it out.
Exactly. Low progesterone leads to things like anxiety, insomnia, heavy periods. Vitex helps the body produce its own calming, cycle-regulating hormone.
It helps restore that critical ratio.
It does. For dosage, we're talking 400 to 1,000 milligrams a day, and preferably first thing in the morning. But the big takeaway here is that this is not a quick fix.
Right, consistency is key.
You have to allow, at least 4 to 12 weeks of daily use before you're going to see those consistent, meaningful effects on your cycle.
Good to know. Okay, next, let's pivot to an essential mineral that does a staggering number of jobs in the body, but so many of us are deficient in: magnesium.
Magnesium is a powerhouse. It's involved in hundreds of processes: hormone production, blood sugar regulation, neurotransmitter function, muscle relaxation.
So why are we so deficient?
Well, chronic stress just burns through it, and our modern diet often doesn't have enough to begin with.
And how does it support hormone balance on so many different fronts?
It's multi-pronged. First, it regulates insulin, which is a major hormonal player. Second, it supports your thyroid. Third, it calms the nervous system, which helps manage those stress-induced hormone spikes.
And it's crucial for women with PCOS, right?
Absolutely essential. It directly addresses the underlying insulin resistance that drives the condition, which then helps reduce high androgen levels. Plus, it's just amazing for PMS symptoms, cramps, anxiety, poor sleep.
It's really a foundational piece. The sources say 300 to 400 milligrams daily.
And they specifically note that magnesium glycinate or citrate are excellent choices. They're highly bioavailable, meaning your body can actually absorb and use them well, and they're gentler on the stomach.
And our fifth supplement gets us down to the cellular level, focusing on a root cause of so many issues today: inflammation.
Omega-3 fatty acids, specifically EPA and DHA.
Right, the essential fats from cold water fish. Our bodies can't make them. Everyone knows they fight inflammation. But what's the deep dive here specifically for hormones?
What's really fascinating is the impact on your actual cell structure. Omega-3s become most of the membranes of all your cells, making them more fluid and permeable.
And why is that so important for hormones?
Because your hormone receptors, the little docking stations for those chemical messengers, they live on the cell membranes.
Wow.
If that membrane is stiff and inflamed, the receptor doesn't work well, the hormone can't deliver its message effectively.
So omega-3s aren't just reducing inflammation, they're making the whole communication system more efficient. It's like making sure the key fits perfectly in the lock.
That's a perfect analogy. They support optimal hormone binding. And the sources note this benefits everyone. It helps balance estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone in both women and men.
And for this, we're looking at 1,000 to 2,000 milligrams of combined EPA and DHA per day.
And a really critical detail: look for purified products, ones that are tested for heavy metals and PCBs to make sure the source is clean.
Okay, so if we take these 5 maca, ashwagandha, Vitex, magnesium, and omega-3s and connect them to the bigger picture, we can see how they offer really targeted support for specific conditions.
Right, let's see how we can apply them. For something like PCOS, which the sources define as being driven by insulin resistance and inflammation.
You start with magnesium and omega-3s.
Exactly. Magnesium to lower insulin resistance, omega-3s for the inflammation. Then you can bring in something like inositol.
Myoinositol specifically.
Yes, it's fantastic for improving insulin sensitivity and supporting regular ovulation. And you could even add something like cinnamon extract to help with blood sugar.
Okay, what about menopause support, where we're dealing with declining estrogen and progesterone?
Here, maca is a great foundation for that overall signaling support and energy. Omega-3s are still key for inflammation. Then for the really specific symptoms, Black cohosh is highly evidence-backed for reducing hot flashes and night sweats.
And you have to add vitamin D and calcium.
Crucial. For maintaining bone strength, which declines really fast as estrogen drops.
And for something like low thyroid function.
You need to address both production and conversion. Ashwagandha is key for reducing that stress-related disruption. Then you look at the minerals. Selenium and zinc are vital for converting the inactive T4 hormone into the active T3.
And iodine.
Iodine is essential for production, but, and this is a big but, you should only supplement if you know you're deficient.
Good clarification. And finally, low testosterone support for both men and women.
Again, ashwagandha and zinc are at the top of the list. Zinc is vital for testosterone production. Vitamin D is also essential. Low levels are strongly linked to low T. And then fenugreek is a great herbal option for supporting libido and energy.
So, what does this all mean? We've got these 5 powerful supplements. They can target specific conditions, but, and the sources are very clear in this, they are not magic pills. They are supportive players.
Absolutely. We have to talk about the lifestyle factors for sustainable balance.
Let's do it, because ignoring them means the supplements are always just fighting an uphill battle.
They are. So, pillar number 1, eat whole, nutrient-dense foods. Sounds basic, but let's get into the hormonal why.
Right.
You need fiber, healthy fats, quality protein. But specifically, the sources highlight cruciferous vegetables, broccoli, kale, cabbage. They have compounds that support the liver's detox pathways to help your body get rid of excess estrogen.
And if you don't have enough fiber, that estrogen just gets reabsorbed from the gut.
Exactly. And at the same time, you have to avoid the processed foods and refined carbs that cause blood sugar spikes, because that drives insulin resistance, which then messes with your sex hormones.
Okay, pillar 2, manage chronic stress effectively. We've talked about cortisol, but what's the real cost of ignoring it?
It's a systemic disruption. High cortisol can literally steal the building blocks your body needs to make progesterone and testosterone. It's a concept called the pregnenolone steal.
Which is why chronic stress often leads directly to low progesterone and low libido.
Right. And simple, regular practices, yoga, deep breathing, a 30-minute walk in nature, they significantly lower that sustained cortisol load. It lets your body start prioritizing sex hormone production again.
Pillar 3, a healthy gut. This is such a huge area of research right now.
The gut-brain hormone axis, yes. A balanced microbiome is essential because it regulates something called the estrobolome.
The what?
The estrobolome. It's a collection of gut bacteria that modulates how estrogen is metabolized and excreted. If your gut is out of balance, you can't get rid of excess estrogen effectively. You nourish that system with diverse fiber and fermented foods.
Pillar 4 is actively avoiding hormone disruptors.
Endocrine disrupting chemicals, or EDCs, BPA in plastics, phthalates in scented products, pesticides. They mimic natural estrogen, bind to your receptors, and just confuse your entire system.
So the advice is practical.
Very. Switch to BPA-free containers, choose organic when you can, ditch the synthetic fragrances. Reducing that daily toxic load matters so much over time.
And finally, pillar 5, which might be the most important. Prioritize restorative sleep.
Sleep is not optional. It is when essential hormonal repair and regulation happen. Your circadian rhythm controls the release of cortisol, growth hormone, everything.
And poor sleep just messes all of that up.
Instantly. Even one bad night elevates cortisol and increases insulin resistance. If you're aiming for hormonal balance, getting 7 to 9 hours in a dark, quiet room on a consistent schedule, that is the most powerful supplement you can possibly take.
That brings us to the end of our deep dive. Balancing your hormones naturally is absolutely achievable. The return on investment is just priceless. Sustained energy, a better mood, more focus, just overall vitality.
It really is.
And the 5 supplements we talked about, Maca, Ashwagandha, Vitex, Magnesium, and omega-3s, they offer powerful, evidence-backed support for your body's natural rhythm.
But we have to emphasize that final caveat. Supplements play a supportive role. They support excellent foundational habits. Results require consistency and a lot of patience.
Right, this isn't an overnight fix.
Not at all. You might need 2 weeks to feel subtle changes, but it could be up to 3 months to feel those lasting systemic effects. And always, always consult a healthcare provider before you start a new supplement regimen.
So to leave you with a final provocative thought, consider that critical link between chronic stress and poor sleep and the cascade effect of high cortisol just disrupting nearly every other key hormone: your thyroid, insulin, estrogen, and testosterone. Which of those 5 lifestyle pillars today are you ready to commit to supporting first to make sure all those targeted supplements can work as hard as they possibly can for you?
Thanks for tuning in to the Scenario Podcast. Don't forget to visit scenario.com for more expert tips, articles, and supplements designed to support your mental health. If you enjoyed this episode, remember to subscribe and share it with a friend. Until next time, take care of yourself.